Today I'm in the wood yard. I am with Tony, the guy who knows everything about processors and especially Blockbuster.
Yep, Blockbusters.
Now, you have been with the company forever.
Yeah, it'll be 26 years here in October.
That's a good start.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've been around. Now, the very beginning was actually a little before that.
Yeah, it was, back in the 80s. They started off with the model B1, the biggest machine. Then they had the B2. Actually, the B1 became the 2222.
Okay. And
then the B2 was next, and that became the 2220. Then they had the Blockbuster Junior, which became the 1820. And then probably around the time I started, we developed the 1412. Kind of a basic consumer model,
right.
Low price machine.
Now, you say consumer model, it really was invented or designed for guys that weren't really producing wood to sell, but guys that wanted a large quantity, maybe boiler guys or a couple of brothers or neighbor guys that would buy it and they could produce.
Yeah, I mean, some guys bought it for production and some guys bought it for themselves.
Sure. And
it, it started out, it didn't have elevator functions, it didn't have a live deck. But then people say, hey, I'd like to have a live deck, so you start putting more and more stuff on it, then it becomes standard and the price gets up there.
That's the problem with designing any machine, is that as a builder you want to make it as good as possible and have as many cool things as possible, because you want it, because people ask and they have requests, hey, can you do this, can you do that, all of a sudden the price just keeps it goes up.
Yeah.
So now, being that you've been with the company forever and you've seen all the machines, what's your favorite one out of all of them?
Well, this new one's a pretty nice machine. It's fast, cuts and splits fast. But I think just if I was doing something for myself, probably a 1412.
Would do everything you want it to do.
Yeah, I think so.
And that model's meant to do what, about a couple hundred cords a year, 300, 400 maybe?
If you wanted to run it 24/7, you probably could.
I think you could, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do 8-10 cords a day, that very realistic number.
Yeah, and because you've been around and talking to all these people, when you want to do production, as you go up in models, you just up your production.
Yeah,
so you got to you can run more wood faster, get more wood done.
Well, yeah, you go, as you go up in machine size, you go up in diameter and length, and so
speed.
So then you're faster, and you produce more with every split.
Right. Now, because you've been there so long, you know all the machines, so you basically are the parts guy too.
I'm parts and service, yep. People call in and we can diagnose pretty much anything that is going wrong over the phone. Every once in a while you find something new that you've never encountered before.
Yeah.
But, in 26 years, I've seen about everything. So.
Yeah. So in your years there, you've sold multiple machines to just like one company, one individual. Sure. Like, what's the most?
The place that probably bought the most machines and run them all about the same time was a company, W.W. Wood out of Texas.
Okay.
And they started off with a 2222. Then I think they bought a couple more 2222s and a couple of 2220 just cut off machines with no splitters, because they make barbecue smoking wood.
Oh, sure.
And so they had maybe 6 machines running at one time and several conveyors. And but we've got customers that would trade in every 2 years. A fellow out of New York, he's probably had 6 machines. Trades in every couple 3 years. We had a fellow up in Canada that every couple of years he traded in. Then he ended up having 2 machines. So then every other year he would trade in one or the other.
Swaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of guys do it with chainsaws. Every year they'll buy a new one, they get rid of the older one.
Yep.
That's cool. So when those guys are doing that, are they buying a model to upgrade, or is it just they want a newer one because they use it
I think it's just new. Yeah, they run put a lot of hours on them.
Right.
And I think your engine warranty and your processor warranty and all that. So if you trade in every couple of years, you've always got warranty available.
Now, when they're doing that, say they have a machine that's 2 to 3 years old, the sale price and then the resale price, how close is it? Because a lot of people don't understand how the value holds pretty well.
Yeah, it does. I've talked to some guys that they have a 5-6 year old machine and they've got it advertised, and maybe they've sold it for what they've paid for it 5 years ago.
And I've heard that from a lot of guys, like, yeah, I didn't lose any money.
Yep.
It's like, wow. You can't say that about many things nowadays.
Yeah.
So, well, because the cost of production goes up.
Yep.
The cost of everything goes up, and the people that want these sometimes can't get them fast enough because they aren't just waiting on the floor there. You guys take the orders and then you build the machine, and there's a line.
Yeah.
And because of that, sometimes they got to wait months. And these guys that are in the businesses that have to have them, they'll order them ahead of time because they know it's time.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they're easy to sell because people are like, oh, I don't want to wait, I want it.
Yeah.
Well, they got to have it.
And we do take trade-ins occasionally, but you know, it's just like selling a used car. You're going to get more money selling it to someone else than you will through a dealer, you know.
Right. So on the new machine, what's your favorite new feature that you guys put on here?
I think the split boost function.
I noticed is fast.
Yes, it is. So you have 40 gallon a minute pump section feeding the splitting cylinder, but when you're not using the saw, it will combine the 40 gallon a minute for the saw and shoot that to the splitting cylinder, so it basically doubles your speed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's scary fast. It's like scary fast. Because I've run enough machines to know, and I look at it like, wow. It's like, can you keep up with the machine?
Yeah.
Because that's really, you've got to get your memory, your muscle memory of what to do. That there's a lot of catching up to do to the machine, because most machines can outwork the people.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen. That's cool. Yeah, well, so on the video we're going to show you it running. You'll get to see all the function, how it works. We'll show you that at the end here. So you're going to see that coming up. So being that you're the parts guy, what's the most common thing? Obviously it's the wear parts. So what do you send out a lot?
You know, bars and chains, filters. You know, sometimes people will damage a cap on the hydraulic tank.
Oh, sure.
Or
I can't imagine how that happens. Skid steer, I suppose, a fork coming around.
Or something, I don't know. And there's things that you can't even imagine how it gets done.
That happens.
But you know, there's a couple hydraulic components that, you know, the springs will wear out or break, and
or a hose or
seals, hose.
Happens,
most of the time, hoses, most people can get those made local.
Right.
You know, it's kind of cost prohibitive to
because
order
it's faster too.
Yeah,
they can take it and get it made in a couple hours.
Well, yeah, you can get it fixed the same day.
Yeah, I did on my tractor. I pinched a hose and the guy made it in an hour. Like, awesome.
Yeah, and we've tried to build this machine, all of our machines, with off-the-shelf parts. You know, if you break down, you don't have to order everything from Blockbuster. You can go to a parts store or Ag Supply, or even out of a catalog or Amazon.
Right.
And you know, and if it's local, you can have it fixed the same day instead of waiting 3 or 4 days.
But if they do need to order something from you, they call you. You try to get it out that day or the very next day as fast as you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, because guys don't want to be down on production.
Yep.
So is there anybody that will stock, that are bigger companies that have multiple machines? Do they order parts and kind of just keep them on stock?
Yeah, a lot of guys do. You know, you'll keep bars and chains, saw studs and nuts. Most people have a set of filters. Well, a lot of people, not most, but a lot of people keep a set of filters. And there's you might keep maybe a seal kit for a cylinder or a valve body or something on hand also.
Sure. Interesting. What's the farthest away machine that you ever saw? What's like some of the places where you go, holy smokes, we got one way over there. Where's that at?
Well, we've got processors in New Zealand and Australia.
Wow.
We've got a couple over in Europe.
So first thing people are going to ask, to send it to New Zealand, what's like a shipping on a machine to go there?
Shipping costs, I don't know, but you know, they drop a container off and we load it, and then they take it to probably Long Beach out in California to the port and load it on a ship, and there it goes.
That's amazing.
Yep. And we've taken machines way up in Alaska. When I first started, we had a truck, and they put an extra 50-gallon fuel tank on it because, you know, from the last fuel stop to where the driver was going, there was nothing.
Oh yeah, I've been to there a few times. I was just there. Yeah, so it's people don't realize how big Alaska is until you go there. Because you look on the map, you go, oh, we only got to go that far. That's 14 hours, and the state's this big. It's like it's amazing. It's everybody thinks Texas is big. I think Alaska's 5 times bigger. It's huge.
Okay.
Of all your machines, like, what's the most durable thing you have? Obviously, you've got your different processors. You've got the cleaner, you've got elevators, you've got a grapple. What's the thing that you
you know, we talked about that earlier, and as far as moving parts, the Firewood grapple probably has the least moving parts. Yeah. And there's really, you know, unless you abuse it and break it, there's not much to go wrong with that. And
a lot of Firewood people are good at abusing equipment.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and then probably the Firewood cleaner. Yeah. You know, a little more moving parts, but other than bearings, there's really nothing to go wrong with that.
So, mentioning the cleaner, now Tim was kind of the first guy to bring that to market.
We had a Firewood cleaner that we built several years before we ever saw one at the show, and it was like absolutely no interest in it. You know, you tell people, hey, Firewood cleaner, and they're like, no thanks. Yeah. And then we come to a show, and another company has a Firewood cleaner, and people start saying, hey, you guys got a Firewood cleaner? And
yeah, you had one for a while. Yeah. So yeah, we were at the Boonville show, and you guys sold 2 of them to some brothers. We had that video, and they're reasonably priced because the basic one's like 16, 17,000, something like that.
16.3, something like that.
And a lot of people are using them obviously when they're processing the wood. They clean it the first time, but then a lot of guys put a lot of their wood on the ground, then they're scooping it up for delivery and then cleaning it again to go out. So it's kind of a vital piece now for production.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the longer your firewood lays on the ground and dries out, the bark starts falling off.
Yep, exactly.
And then if you're scooping up off the ground, you're getting dirt and gravel. And
people don't want dirty wood. Yep. They want it clean. Yep.
So it's a value-added process.
Absolutely. You had mentioned in the beginning there the order the machines were kind of came in. So you started with, that was the B1.
The B1, yep.
So then the B2.
Yep.
And then after that it was
the BB Junior.
BB Junior. Okay, and then after that?
After that was the 1412.
Okay, and then after that?
1520.
And then?
And now we're up to this. Well, actually we started doing plus packages.
Oh, okay.
So then you make that 1412 and 1520 cut larger diameter like the 1820.
And the plus packages is bigger chambers, bigger engines.
The engine is going to be the same, but you're going to have possibly a larger pump depending upon the option, longer bar and chain, bigger splitting chamber, bigger splitting cylinder.
What I meant by bigger engine, you're going sometimes from a gas engine to a diesel engine.
Yes,
so you got
correct.
some more power there.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to keep making improvements and everything, and these things are just awesome. Obviously made in America.
Yes.
Which, that's a good thing. You're kind of centrally located. You can go anywhere.
Yep. Southeast Iowa.
Yeah, all over the place. So, and you're going to see some more equipment. This machine back here, you're going to see more of it. We're going to do some running of it right now, so you're going to get to see that. Thanks so much, Tony.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
You, Ken.
And these guys do great work.